Hello everyone, and welcome to my channel General Hospital Official. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Before we begin, please hit the subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up. Will Drew be Sonny's final mob hit, exacting revenge for ruining Michael's life? General Hospital teasers reveal that Sonny Corinthos may be leaving the criminal world shortly. With his recent health crisis and Michael Corinthos' hospitalization after a penthouse explosion, Sonny understands his professional choice is having a negative impact on him and those he cares about. He knows deep down that it's time to quit. Even Jason Morgan agrees on this. Sonny may have one last order of business before leaving the world of organized crime. Drew Quartermaine has been a thorn in Michael's side for far too long, and Sonny understands that the skinny ball must be put in his place. That punch Jason landed on him in the Quartermaine foyer before Christmas was insufficient retaliation given what Drew has gotten away with lately. Drew was not only brave enough to kiss Michael's wife, Willow Corinthos, twice, but bedding her in the Quartermaine nursery right before Michael's nose was entirely inappropriate. It takes two to tango, but Drew has deliberately sought to end Michael's marriage. Drew didn't even wait for the couple's separation to be finalized before moving in on Willow, literally the day after she and the kids left the gatehouse. Given the circumstances, Willow was foolish to ask Drew to Christmas Eve at Nina Reeves' house, and even more foolish to agree to bring Wiley Corinthos to Washington, D.C. to witness Drew be sworn in, but Drew was equally aggressive with these invites. The cherry on top was Drew persuading Willow to act as Michael's medical proxy and convincing Carly Spencer to restore custody of Wiley and Amelia Corinthos to her. Willow's role as a medical proxy may threaten Michael's recuperation, especially if they go so far as to prolong his next stages in care. It's unclear who Drew is dealing with at this moment. After all, just a few months earlier, Sonny shot and killed Agent John Jagger Cates for interfering with Christina Corinthos Davis, so one can only image what Sonny would do, or order someone to do, to Drew. Sure, Sonny may begin to take moves to leave the mob and give over authority to another mob boss in town, as well as some of his enterprises. Nevertheless, there may be one tiny action item he wants to address before leaving for good: a hit on Drew for everything he's done to Michael. According to General Hospital spoilers, Drew, despite his previous Navy SEAL experience, may not be up to what Sonny has in store for him. Still, given that Drew is Scout Quartermaine's last living dad, would Sonny pull the trigger on a hit like this? General Hospital spoilers, will Cyrus kill Michael Corinthos? According to General Hospital teasers, Michael Corinthos is fighting for his life after losing almost 40% of his body in a fire at Sonny Corinthos' apartment. Chad Duell, a Daytime Emmy winner, has become a fan favorite throughout his 15 years on the show. On the Friday, January 10th show, Michael appeared to be nearing the end of his life. What will happen next? Will GH kill the character or send him to a long-term care facility? GH spoilers, Chad Duell leaves the ABC soap. It should be noted that this plot corresponded with the horrific wildfires that ravaged Los Angeles. As a result, the network encouraged viewers to proceed with caution when viewing the unsettling scenes. As Michael lay immobilized in his hospital bed, malevolent Cyrus Renault crept into the room in surgical scrubs and injected digitalis into his fore. General Hospital spoilers, is Cyrus the avenging angel? Cyrus took off his mask and said, "I know you're in severe pain, Michael, but your misery will soon be gone. You'll soon be at peace. God will call you home." Those remarks were unsettling, but it got especially dark when he administered the medicine and said, "May your soul be encircled by divine light." We have to wonder what Cyrus' motivations are. That scene made him appear like an avenging angel, taking matters into his own hands to alleviate pain. However, he also killed Dex Heller and Sam McCall. Is he a typical serial killer? General Hospital spoilers, why is Cyrus doing this? We also witnessed Sasha Gilmore speak with Jason Morgan outside Michael's room. They connected by their sadness, and it appears that the show is setting them up to fool the town into believing that Sasha and Michael's kid is Jason's. General Hospital spoilers, what happens to Michael? We wouldn't need this plot if Michael survived. So, GH followers, what do you believe will happen to Michael? Is the character going to be killed off because the actor is leaving the show? Or will he be transported away from the site to rehabilitate before returning when the time is right? The tragedy unfolds. the night of the explosion was one that Port Charles will never forget. Flames devoured Sonny's penthouse with such ferocity that its origin was obvious and planned attack. Michael, who was caught in the fire while visiting his father, narrowly escaped with his life thanks to Sonny and Jason Morgan's swift efforts. They managed to get Michael to General Hospital, but the damage was severe. Lucas Jones, the leader of the burn unit, returned from the operating room with bad news. Michael has burns on more than 40% of his body, he informed Carly Spencer, Jocelyn Jacks, and the rest of the waiting family. His condition is critical, and the next 48 hours will be crucial. The revelation caused shockwaves across the household. Carly held Jocelyn's hand, her thoughts racing with fear and shame. Sonny paced the corridor, his rage bubbling beneath the surface as he promised to hunt the perpetrators. A mother's desperation. Meanwhile, Willow Corinthos was in Washington, D.C., for a ceremony with Drew Quartermain when she learned the dreadful news. Portia Robinson, who had heard about the explosion via Curtis Ashford, phoned Nina Reeves, who in turn contacted Willow. Willow's heart fell when she heard Drew's voice on the other end of the telephone. Michael is in critical condition. We need to get back to Port Charles right away, he added, his tone urgent but firm. Willow and Drew rushed back to Port Charles with Wiley, leaving Amelia in the care of Drew's nanny. But while Willow's anxiety for Michael occupied her, Nina's mind was already working. Nina and Martin's bold plan. Nina Reeves had long thought that Michael's involvement to Sonny's dark world endangered her grandkids. With Michael incapacitated and his survival questionable, Nina approached Martin Gray, her trusty legal advisor, to discuss a risky move, obtaining full custody of Wiley and Amelia for Willow. Martin didn't spend any time. Michael's will includes a provision that names Willow as the guardian of his minor children in the event of his death or incapacitation, he told me. It's an unusual clause, but given the circumstances, we can leverage it. Nina's resolve hardened. We can't let those children grow up surrounded by violence and chaos, she told me. This is our chance to give them a safe and stable life. Moving quickly in chaos. While the Corinthos family was preoccupied with Michael's medical emergency, Nina and Martin worked quickly behind the scenes. They received a copy of Michael's will and submitted emergency custody paperwork. Martin's skill and Nina's determination helped the legal process go faster than anyone had imagined. Diane Miller, the Corinthos family's regular legal powerhouse, was fully unaware of Nina and Martin's actions. The urgency of Michael's illness had diverted everyone's attention away from legal issues, allowing Nina and Martin to act unhindered. Alexis Davis, the voice of reason in times of crisis, began to believe something was wrong. While comforting a heartbroken Christina Corinthos Davis in the hospital, Alexis made a mental note to investigate the situation. But when she called Diane, it was too late. Nina and Martin's plot had already begun. Willow's emotional turmoil. Willow found the news of Michael's health difficult to bear. Sitting by his bedside, she held his hand and uttered words of love and encouragement, inspiring him to fight for his life. But, while she was focused on Michael, Nina approached her with a suggestion. Willow, I know this is a difficult time, Nina said, her voice unusually calm. But we need to consider Wiley and Amelia's future. Michael would want them to stay safe. Willow looked up, her eyes still red from sobbing. What are you saying? I'm saying we can ensure their safety, together, Nina explained. Martin has already begun the procedure. If you accept, you will have complete custody. Willow hesitated, conflicted between her feelings for Michael and the need to safeguard their children. The thought of losing Michael was awful, but the prospect of protecting her children was as appealing. The Corinthos family reacts. When the Corinthos family learned of Nina and Martin's deeds, they reacted angrily. Carly confronted Nina in the hospital corridor, her rage barely restrained. How dare you utilize Michael's situation to further your agenda? Carly demanded, her voice trembling with wrath. This family has already gone through enough. Nina stood her ground. I'm doing what's best for Wiley and Amelia, she stated firmly. Michael would want them to be safe. Sonny, caught between his commitment to his family and his lingering remorse over the explosion, intervened to calm the situation. "This isn't the time or place for this," he remarked quietly and authoritatively. "We need to focus on Michael. The future hangs on the balance." Michael's status remained uncertain, and the custody struggle loomed big over the Corinthos family. Willow, caught in the middle, tried to understand the emotional and legal nuances of the issue. Nina's decision was clear: she believed she was acting in the best interests of her grandkids. Carly, Sonny, and the rest of the family saw Nina's actions as a betrayal. The seeds of resentment. Nina Reeves had spent years looking for her long-lost daughter, led only by a portion of a half-heart-shaped necklace left by her late mother, Madeline. When she eventually discovered the truth, it was too late. Nellie Benson, the daughter she had longed for, had died tragically. To add to the pain, Nina discovered that Willow Tate, a lady with whom she had previously clashed, was Nellie's twin. The discovery devastated Nina, not just because of the loss, but also because she discovered Carly Spencer had known the truth all along. Carly had concealed the information out of dislike for Nina and a desire to protect Willow from a potentially harmful connection. It began with Nellie's identity, followed by the unexpected revelation of Willow's relationship with Nina. In both cases, Carly's quiet widened the divide between them. Nina's rage at Carly stemmed from both the lost years and the continual sense of being dismissed. Nina saw Carly as the gatekeeper to her happiness, someone who had continually stepped between her and her family. Willow's changing loyalties. Willow had been Carly's ally for years, and she was grateful for her support during some of her worst days. Carly had been there for Willow when she was dealing with the death of her adopted mother, Harmony, as well as her difficult battle with illness. When Willow's husband, Michael Corinthos, was nearly killed in a terrible explosion at Sonny's penthouse, Carly was a pillar of strength. However, tragedy has a way of transforming relationships. Willow felt exposed and questioned her previous alliances as a result of Michael's grave health and the uncertainty surrounding his life. Nina, determined to connect with her surviving daughter, stepped in with unrelenting support. Willow gradually came to see a different side of Nina, a woman who, despite her shortcomings, longed to be a part of her life. Catalyst, a family shattered. The explosion that nearly killed Michael sent shockwaves across the Corinthos family. Michael was now in the burn unit at General Hospital, struggling for his life, causing a vacuum in the family's structure. With Michael disabled, worries over Wiley and Amelia's custody and future arose. Nina saw this as an opportunity not to take advantage of Michael's illness, but to assure the safety and stability of her grandchildren. She believed Carly's world, which was so linked with Sonny's violent lifestyle, was not suitable for children. Nina's concerns were not unjustified. The explosion demonstrated the risks linked with the Corinthos name. Carly, on the other hand, saw Nina's unexpected involvement as another attempt to impose her will on a family she had no right to dominate. Carly's protective instincts kicked in, and she resolved to fight for her grandkids, keeping them near and shielding them from what she saw as Nina's manipulative influence. The legal maneuvering. Nina asked her trusted attorney, Martin Gray, to help her prepare a case for Willow to get full custody of Wiley and Amelia. Martin, ever the thinker, began looking into Michael's will and any legal documents that could help their case. He learned that Michael had designated Willow as guardian of their children in the case of his incapacitation. Nina and Martin hoped that this clause would tilt the balances in their favor. Meanwhile, Carly contacted Diane Miller, her long-standing legal attorney, to challenge Nina's actions. Diane, known for her straightforward manner and devotion to the Corinthos family, assured Carly that she would do everything in her ability to save Wiley and Amelia from being used as pawns in this power game. The battle lines had been formed, and it was evident that this struggle would put not only familial relationships to the test, but also each woman's willpower. A mother's plea. Willow was torn as the conflict escalated. Her heart grieved for Michael, who lay unconscious and vulnerable, and her mind was preoccupied with the well-being of their children. Nina's constant attempts to communicate with her were received with conflicting reactions. Willow yearned for the mother attachment she had always desired, while another part was concerned that siding with Nina might alienate the rest of the Corinthos family. Nina paid Willow a visit in the hospital one evening. The two women sat in the dimly lit waiting area, the anxiety evident. "Willow, I know we've had our differences," Nina began, her voice shaking with sorrow. But I need you to understand that I'm not attempting to take your children from you. I only want to help. To be the mother you have always deserved. Willow gazed at Nina, her eyes filled with apprehension. I don't know what to believe anymore, she confessed. I've spent so much of my life avoiding people, worried they'll hurt me. And now Michael is battling for his life, and I feel as if I am losing everything. Nina stretched out and placed her hand on Willow's. You're not losing anything, she stated softly. You got me. Together, we can give Wiley and Amelia the life they deserve. Carly's determination. Carly observed from a distance as Willow and Nina's bond became closer. She couldn't shake the suspicion that Nina was orchestrating the scenario, using Michael's absence to put a gap between Willow and the Corinthos family. One night, Carly confronted Nina outside of the hospital. You've always wanted what I have, she alleged. But this time, you have gone too far. Those children are Michael's legacy, and I will not let you or anyone else take them away from this family. Nina stood firm, her eyes flashing with defiance. This isn't about you, Carly, she responded. This is about providing Wiley and Amelia the opportunity to grow up without the constant danger of violence. Can you honestly say that's what they will get from you? The custody battle begins. As the custody struggle progressed, the stakes became higher. Court proceedings became forums where prior mistakes and grudges were exposed. The Corinthos family's secrets, long buried in the shadows, were exposed, leaving no one unaffected. Michael's condition remained unchanged throughout, leaving his future unknown. The custody dispute between Wiley and Amelia became more than just a legal matter, it was a test of loyalty, love, and the extent a family will go to protect its own. Weekly General Hospital recap January 6 to 10th, Michael's life on the line, Portia bans Cyrus. It was a sad week in Port Charles. Michael being caught in the fire has Port Charles in a frenzy, and the General Hospital recap for January 6 to 10th 2025 covers everything you may have missed. What happened in Port Charles? Michael was set ablaze in his father's apartment, producing a ripple effect of wrath among his loved ones. Willow received divorce papers from Michael in D.C. on Monday, January 6, 2025, and raced to Drew's. He comforted her and promised her that Michael would not take the children from her. At GH, Brad confronted Cyrus over what he'd done to Britt, forcing Lucas to intervene and calm him down, while Portia barred Cyrus from the hospital. Michael informed Sonny about his divorce at the penthouse, while Carly went to Jason's office to rant about Willow. When Carly left to meet Lucas for dinner, Jason headed to the penthouse to talk business. While the two were walking down the hallway, a bomb was dropped into the penthouse, causing it to burn and Michael to catch fire. Meanwhile, Jocelyn discovered a secret gun while packing away Dex's belongings at his apartment, and Brennan admonished his assistant for shooting at Valentine before bumping into Carly as she waited for Lucas. Tuesday, January 7, 2025, preempted. Wednesday, January 8, 2025, after Jason extinguished the flames on Michael, he was brought to GH, where Lucas and Isaiah leaped into action. While having an unexpected dinner with Brennan, Carly overheard someone discussing the fire and went to GH, where Sonny and Jason informed her about Michael. Brennan went to find Jocelyn, who was inspecting Dex's rifle, and informed her of Michael's condition. When they all arrived at GH, Lucas informed them that Michael had third-degree burns on 40% of his body and they were unsure if he would survive. Meanwhile, Willow and Drew returned to bed in Washington, D.C. However, after Portia called Curtis, who was plotting with Nina to bring down Drew, he called Drew to tell him about his nephew, while Nina called Willow. Chase opened up to Sasha about her difficulties in having a kid at the Quartermaine mansion, while Brooke Lynn had a heart-to-heart with Lois, wondering if her current issue was punishment for previously becoming pregnant and giving up her baby. Thursday, January 9, 2025, as Michael lay in the burn unit, Carly and Joss were visited by Diane, who informed them that they would need to pursue custody of the children following Willow's most recent betrayal, which stunned Joss. Later, when Joss saw Willow at the hospital, she chastised her for her decisions. Meanwhile, Sonny and Jason returned to the burned-out penthouse to examine how the device had been set. While there, Jason informed Sonny that they needed to retire before something like this occurred to Danny. After Jason gave Anna his testimony, she called Brennan for help determining who started the fire. Chase was instructed to accompany Diane to Nina's, where they intended to take the children after telling Nina of the court order. Back at GH, Curtis chastised Drew for being in the hospital. Drew ran into Carly at the chapel and they got into a fight. Meanwhile, Sonny discovered Christina on the rooftop. She acknowledged that she was scared to see her brother in that condition. When Jason returned to the hospital, he reflected on parenting Michael as a newborn before sitting with him. Michael awoke suddenly, gasping with pain. On Friday, January 10, 2025, Diane and Alexis, Rick and Ava, and Cyrus and Martin were all having dinner conversations at the Port Charles Grill. But when Diane pulled Martin aside to discuss the Corinthos divorce issue, Rick decided to take her seat across from Alexis, just to irritate his ex. At GH, Carly and Drew fought in the chapel while Joss continued to rip into Willow until Nina arrived to defend her daughter. When Willow discovered that the children had been abducted, she raced into Drew's arms. He advised that she use her position as Michael's health proxy to get the kids back. Willow emerged just as Carly and Sonny were going to discuss Michael's condition with the doctors, and she informed them that all decisions were up to her. Felicia mentioned Michael's accident to Maxie and Sasha at dinner, forcing Sasha to rush to the hospital. When she arrived, she found consolation in Jason's presence, who had been requested to leave after Michael awoke so he could be drugged again. Later, Brennan gave Joss a list of persons who were at Rice Plaza on the night of Dex's stabbing, so she started chatting to Felicia, who remembered hearing Cyrus ring his bell that night. With everyone preoccupied, Cyrus sneaked into Michael's room and promised him that he would be fine shortly before injecting him with Digitalis. Strange things everyone ignores about Steve Burton. Steve Burton, the star of General Hospital, is without a doubt one of the most well-known daytime television actors. Strange facts everyone ignores about Steve Burton. Sure, he was sacked from Port Charles in 2021, but being the ultimate comeback child, the makers of General Hospital rehired him in 2024. Let's just say that Steve, best known for his role as Jason Morgan on the iconic ABC soap, cannot be ignored. But, at the same time, there are certain weird aspects of the actor that people simply ignore. Apparently, many fans were outraged that Steve was asked to return to the show while his old co-star Ingo Rademacher was left out. As many General Hospital fans recall, Steve and Ingo were fired by the ABC network in 2021 after refusing to comply with the vaccine mandate at the time. If that isn't enough, there is widespread rumor that Steve, best known for his role as Jason Morgan on the hit ABC soap, is attempting to avoid touch with his co-star Nancy Lee Grahn at all means. General Hospital news, what's next for Steve Burton? That's because he's tired of Nancy's bullying. Nancy is the type of person that isn't afraid to express her ideas. But Steve is the type of guy who doesn't want to generate any more headlines than necessary, so he'll keep his mouth shut. He might not agree with everything Nancy says, but he will not argue with her. Plus, Steve tries to be as private as possible these days. Sure, he announced his engagement to Michelle Lundstrom, but he isn't providing the world as much insight into his personal life as he used to. Simply said, Steve learned from his failures. The tragic life of Ingo Rademacher. Ingo Rademacher, a General Hospital star, had sadly lost his court struggle against ABC. His career has not been the same. The judge in the case agreed with the network. The tragic life of Ingo Rademacher. However, Ingo's objection to receiving the vaccine was founded on religious convictions, which the judge did not appear to accept. According to reports, the judge in the case sided with the network, which claimed that Ingo's refusal to acquire the vaccine was due to health concerns. Ingo filed a broad civil rights case against ABC based on constitutional concerns. He has also been a strong opponent and skeptic of vaccine efficacy and mandates on social media. Last year, Ingo stated that he did not comply with the network's vaccine mandate due to religious convictions. The actor has even hinted on social media that he strongly opposes the vaccine. At the time, his counsel stated that ABC had a duty to accommodate Ingo. Instead, it subjected him to a phony process that was designed to fail and to conceal the true cause for Ingo's termination, his political beliefs. What's next for Ingo Rademacher? He also claimed that he was fired due to his right-wing convictions. His complaint also stated that the show's producers and writers did not like his comments about Donald Trump and restrictive COVID policies, so they wrote him off the show and decided to recast the part. That required employing someone else to play Ingo's character. However, there was a problem. Ingo was one of General Hospital's most popular actors. He was under contract until June 2022, and the producers had already explored extending it. Criticism of Ingo's political commentary also sparked the invention of the hashtag #FireIngo, which was trending at the time ABC chose to fire him. So, instead of being honest with Ingo, ABC utilized the COVID vaccination policy as an excuse to fire him. While no one knows what the future holds for Ingo, things haven't been going so well for him thus far. He was obliged to pack up his belongings and relocate his family from California to Panama City, Florida, in the hopes of finding work in the entertainment industry on the East Coast. The explosion that transformed everything. It was a typical evening in Sonny's apartment. Sonny Corinthos, the family's composed yet alert leader, was engaged in a conversation with his close ally Jason Morgan just outside the door. Inside, Michael Corinthos was alone, contemplating his life and the significance of the Corinthos legacy. The air appeared quiet, deceptively so, until a tremendous explosion broke the silence. The penthouse was enveloped in flames in seconds. Sonny and Jason, startled by the rapid eruption, rushed into action. They hurried towards the inferno, desperate to save Michael. They were able to pull him out despite the dense smoke and blinding flames, but the fire had already left its devastating mark. Michael, burned and unconscious, was transported to General Hospital, where his survival was doubtful. Enemies lurk in the shadows. Sonny's world was never devoid of rivals. As a renowned person in the coffee importing business, a polite term for his criminal operations, Sonny had made numerous enemies over the years. But who of them had the audacity to target his family? Cyrus Renault's ongoing reign of terror. Sonny had long resented Cyrus Renault, a man who thrived in disorder. Cyrus was just expelled from General Hospital by Portia Robinson, but he still had a network of operators capable of spreading havoc. He was responsible for poisoning Dex Heller and Sam McCall with Digitalis, demonstrating that his techniques were both sinister and intimate. When Cyrus learned of Michael's grave condition, it wasn't difficult to envision him delighting in the chaos he could have caused. After all, assaulting Michael was a definite way to send a powerful message to Sonny. The mysterious Jens Sidwell. Then there was Jens Sidwell, a newbie who had lately moved into the famed Cassadine home. His entrance prompted suspicions, especially considering his closeness to Lucy Coe, who had a flair for attracting problems. Could Sidwell's charm conceal a darker agenda? Some speculated that his abilities went beyond charisma to explosives competence. Michael's fragile state. As Michael lay in General Hospital's burn unit, the full extent of his injuries became apparent. His odds of survival were slim, having burned approximately 40% of his body. Doctors labored tirelessly, but they were aware that the next 48 hours would be important. Carly Spencer, Michael's fiercely protective mother, was distraught. She remained at his bedside, refusing to leave even as family and friends filled the hospital's waiting room. Sonny, impassive but plainly upset, swore to learn the truth about the incident. Speculation and intrigue. The explosion shook the tight-knit town of Port Charles, fueling speculation about the perpetrator. Every aspect of the occurrence was analyzed and argued. Was Michael the planned target, or was he just in the wrong location at the wrong time? A message for Sonny? The nature of the attack indicated that it was not random. The moment, the location, all indicated a premeditated move against Sonny. Theories abounded, Cyrus wanting vengeance, Sidwell demonstrating his abilities, or even an undiscovered entity debuting in the criminal underground. A distraction? Others wondered if the explosion was a distraction, a camouflage for a bigger plan. With Sonny and Jason distracted, their attackers may use the confusion to strike elsewhere. Michael's fate, death, or disappearance. Chad Duell's impending departure from the program only heightened the tension surrounding Michael's storyline. Even if Michael's physical presence in Port Charles was temporarily obliterated, social media buzz indicated that his journey was far from over. The coma theory. One possibility was that Michael would survive but stay in a coma, requiring long-term care outside of Port Charles. This would allow the character to leave while keeping the door open for a return. A staged death. Another idea indicated that Michael's death was a hoax arranged by Sonny and Jason to safeguard him from future attacks. If true, Michael's loved ones will grieve him without knowing the truth. The aftermath. The aftermath of the explosion played out dramatically throughout the course of the week. Tensions within the Corinthos family erupted as old grudges and unresolved issues reappeared. Carly, determined to maintain control, battled with Nina Reeves over custody of Michael's children. Meanwhile, Sonny conducted his own investigation, enlisting Jason and Curtis Ashford to determine the cause of the explosion. Their investigation took them to unexpected locations, where they discovered secrets that threatened to expose not only their adversaries but also their own vulnerabilities. Port Charles on the edge. The explosion in the penthouse was more than just an attack on one man, it was an assault on the tenuous peace that held Port Charles together. As the city braced for what was ahead, one thing was certain: the aftermath of this tragedy would reshape alliances, test loyalties, and pave the way for an uncertain future. Thanks for watching. If you like this video, so please don't forget to subscribe my channel and don't miss any update.